I mean, I was told by my film professor, there are films and there are movies. And sometimes you've got to know what you're walking into.
Yeah. See, but I come from a time when movies were films.
Gary Chapman wrote this novel called The Five Love Languages, and the five love languages are as follows: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. The five love languages are very important as to how you perceive love and receive love, and it's a very important concept to understand as you go into life in general, but mainly a loving relationship with a partner. It's important to know all five of these in depth. And I have the book here. I've read the book a little bit, teeny bit. I've just tapped into it, dabbled a tiny bit into the book. And the book, I have to admit, it's solid. It's a cool book, but he's missing one love language. There's actually six, not five. And you may be asking, Logan, what's the sixth love language? It's movies. And that's my love language, especially it might be yours if you're listening to this. And today is Valentine's Day, and I have 20 films, 20 different movies here that are all what I'd say to be my favorites of movies in the romance genre. I've seen a lot of these. This list I'm going to go through, I've been going through this list and curating it for the past year and a half. It is my baby. It is my passion project. I love it. There's over 70 films on this list. This list is, number one, very messy and very disorganized and needs a lot of work to really be in a true, incredible form. But still, I think the top 20 is very sharpened right now to where I can actually showcase it to you. Also, like I said, there are over 70 movies in this list. So if you want to go into the bottom 20 or the bottom half of the list, there's a lot of great films on here, a lot of incredible romance movies that couldn't shape it into the top 20. The top 20, I think, is the true cream of the crop for the genre. And there's plenty that I haven't seen quite yet, but this, in my opinion, is the 20 best films. But like I said, there's a ton that I've left out here, a ton in the top 30 alone. The top 30 alone is really good for films and romance that I'm not going to get a chance to talk about a whole ton. I'll go through three random honorable mentions that are very good that couldn't shape it into the list. Like number one, Lost in Translation is one of the most essential movies for the genre, but it's number 21. It couldn't quite break into the top 20, unfortunately. Or like number 22 is Love and Basketball, another one that I watched very recently this month for the first time, and Love and Basketball is incredibly essential and incredibly beautiful and poetic and just, it's incredible. It's everything to me. And West Side Story, both of them, the one by Steven Spielberg, also the original one, are also good. Casablanca couldn't be in here, unfortunately. Hiroshima Mon Amour, French New Wave, an incredible romance movie, and the list goes on. I'm not going to have a chance to talk about all of them here today, but just be aware there's so many here that are just so incredible that couldn't be here on the top 20, like Mamma Mia, 500 Days of Summer, We Live in Time from last year, very recent, but also very, very good. The Parent Trap was very good. Flipped by Rob Reiner is also just brilliantly incredible. The Holiday, Love Actually, you get the point. There's so many incredible, incredible romance movies that couldn't be here, unfortunately, but I'll go into the top 20 starting right now. But before I start diving into my top 20, I do have to just quickly go into a teeny bit of prologue. We have a very limited amount of time today, but most likely, if it's Valentine's Day and you're listening to this on Valentine's Day, most likely you fall into two different categories. Category A is where you have a very loving relationship and you're very happy with your girlfriend or husband or wife or whatever you're in right now with that person. And I say congratulations to you. And you're probably wondering, what film should I watch tonight for Valentine's Day? Well, I'll tell you right now, I have 20 different incredible movies that are going to be very good for you. So if you're with a partner, congrats, and I hope you have fun tonight watching some great movies and just, doing chocolates and roses and stuff, and definitely feeding into corporate America by buying random unused gift cards that no one needs or wants. But, neither here nor there. And then option B, the category B, my fault, is that you're either probably alone in this time for Valentine's Day, which I'm very sorry for you. You're probably very alone and you just wanted to throw on some Court of Cinema podcast. And then after this, you're going to listen to that new Drake album with Party Next Door. Some very sad tunes for you there. And then you're probably just wondering to yourself, what can I watch tonight to kind of be sad and depressed with a romance movie? Well, I have those for you here too. But if you're very recently heartbroken or going through a breakup, I will say the best film to watch, in my opinion, is That Awkward Moment. That Awkward Moment is also one of the most underrated films really ever made. 2014, you have Zac Efron, Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan. This is like one of the best trios in cinematic history. I know what you're going to say, Logan, that's so preposterous. It's true. The chemistry here is unmatched. It's not the best film in the world by any means whatsoever. In fact, this film isn't even like cracking top 40 for the romance list here. But still, that awkward moment is a great film if you're going through a breakup. Trust me, speaking from experience, I suffered through it as well and watched this film immediately. It's very good one. Definitely very deserving. Also, extremely underrated. But, it's not top 20, so I'm just going to ignore it for now. But go watch it, and I'm just going to go to main 20 here right now. We're very short on time today, so I got to hurry up a little bit. So like I said, we're short on time today, so no time to waste here. Going into the top 20, starting at number 20 here, we have Blue Valentine with Ryan Gosling, also Michelle Williams, directed by the one, the only, Derek Cianfrance. This one is brilliant. It's incredible. I watched it last month, very recently, rewatched last month, I better should say. I've been a big fan of this one for years, well, since last year is a better word to say as well. But still, this movie is very brilliant and also just very sad in how it's telling a romance story. One half of the film is going into that very classic fairy tale romance story. Then the other half is just pure reality, where after they're older and they've gone through that whole fantasy fairy tale romance, story arc section of the movie, it does cut in between to the real and raw, and nothing really is the same anymore. And they both had dreams and ambitions that they kind of let go of. And now they're probably going to get divorced, which is very sad. And they're struggling to find that spark again. It's sad and sounds very weird to watch on Valentine's Day and very depressing, which it is, which is why it's so incredible and essential. And I recommend you watch it immediately. All these films here deserve their own episode, so I'm just going to try and give my initial thoughts very quickly, but still, all these are incredible. Like number 19, we have Her, which is, if you know me, you know I love Her. This film really did come around for me. I used to be a big fan of Lost in Translation over this one, but still, Spike Jonze and what he did with this film, it's beautiful, and it's just so sad and poetic. It's very weird. Joaquin Phoenix is in love with a robot, but that robot's Scarlett Johansson, so give him a break for once, please. I beg of you. Her is truly a work of art that is just so masterful and so beautiful and is just unfolding on itself in every single rewatch that you do, that I can't help but love it so much. And I understand it's weird that he has sexual interactions with a robot, but still, it's brilliant and it's fun, and it's also not fun. It's very sad and it's raw and it's emotional, and I can't get enough of it every time I watch it. But Her, Spike Jonze, 2013, it's number 19. But number 18 is the first, I guess, gay movie on this list, which I'm going to get a lot of criticized because I'm a man. I should be watching more films like Braveheart and Rush Hour. But no, I'm watching Brokeback Mountain at number 18 because it is also another one that's very masterful and sad, and it might make you cry. And it's brilliant with brilliant performances by just the incredible Jared Leto. No, that's a lie. I'm sorry. Heath Ledger. I'm getting my Jokers mixed up here. But Heath Ledger, Jake Gyllenhaal, Michelle Williams, Anne Hathaway, they're all equally just so good in this movie. And this one just hits so much more different, especially if you will rewatch it. I only watched it one time, but still, Brokeback Mountain, it's incredible. It paved the way for the top 3 spot on this list, which we'll get to in a second here. But Brokeback Mountain, it's a classic, cult classic. It'll live on forever in all of our minds, and it's beautiful and also tragic. But like number 17, it might be even more sad with The Notebook with Ryan Gosling and the love of my life, who I love so dearly, Rachel McAdams. This one, it's also a classic that doesn't have the best reviews, but still, The Notebook, when it comes to being a great romance movie, it needs to be top 20. In any conversation you give it, it has to be top 20. This one truly does hurt. I believe I did cry when I watched it for the first time. And I mean, just for good reason. This movie just really does hit you like a freight train by just the whirlwind of emotions that you get from it. I can never forgive them what they did for this movie. But still, Ryan Gosling, Rachel McAdams, they actually like hated each other on set. But still, what they did here, I have to give them love for, because they truly did sell hating each other, but still did a great job being lovers in a movie. How? I have no idea. They're great actors. That's a great sign of it. And they're awesome. Also, Ryan Gosling, literally me. There's another one on this list, top 3, but you know what it is. It's another Ryan Gosling film, but you know it is. We'll get there in a second. But number 16, I do have Your Name, 2016. I don't watch a lot of anime, anything really, but Your Name is a very reasonable exception. This one is beautiful. The animation is spectacular. The moments in Your Name will leave you jaw-dropped. It feels like a shotgun blast to the chest by the just jaw-dropping, incredible moments here that I can't get enough of every time I watch it. I've only seen it one time, but still, if I could watch it again and just not know anything about it going into it, I would give up millions of dollars because the shock factor by the ending and just really every single scene, it's something to really just grab onto and love. And Your Name, It Feels Like Everywhere is one of the highest grossing movies really of all time, and for good reason. It is definitely worthy of the hype. Go watch it. Where's it streamed right now? I'm not sure, but if you need to rent it, worth every single penny of your pocket right now. Go watch Your Name. If it's a $50 rental, go watch it. I understand it's $50, rough economy, eggs are like $20 right now, but still, it's worth it. Number 15 is kind of me cheating, but I still have it in here because it's on Letterboxd. But Normal People is a miniseries. Paul Mescal, Daisy Edgar-Jones. This is one of the best romance stories of all time. I've read the book for Normal People. Also, I've watched the show for Normal People, and both sides of the coin. It's just beautiful and heartbreaking and tragic, yet also so authentic and real. It's everything that I want out of a romance. It's a romance show. Go watch it regardless. It's a mini series. You can watch it in one weekend, but just for the sake of us, this is more of a movie-oriented list. It's still an incredible show. Paul Mescal is so good. Daisy Edgar-Jones is also just so incredible. The directing and writing is literally top-notch. But since it's a movie list, I'll sub in Atonement. Atonement will also hit you like a freight train as well. So for Normal People being a show, we'll sub in Atonement. Atonement's great. Go watch Atonement. You might cry, and it's definitely worth it. It's one of the best twists ever for a movie that you will literally never see coming. If you had to guess the twist for Atonement, you would not guess the twist for the movie in any way, shape, or form. And I guess we're going to say, Logan, that's what a twist is. A twist is supposed to be something you're not supposed to expect from the movie. But still, it's kind of like how if you went to go see Star Wars and then Vin Diesel and The Rock showed up, that's like kind of like how crazy it is. They're like Vin Diesel and The Rock in their Fast and Furious era, like movies, like literally like Dom Toretto showed up in Star Wars. That level of like a crazy twist that you never even see coming. That's what Atonement is. Definitely worth your time. Go watch it. It's really good. It's also like banned from my list here. I have it on my shelf on Blu-ray. I banned it because it's so good and so sad that I will never watch it again. But it's still on my shelf on Blu-ray. It'll be there forever. I'm kind of like emotional about it. So moving on here. Number 14 on this list is Pride and Prejudice. Why is that? Because Pride and Prejudice is peak of romance to some people. Not to me, but still it's essential. Also, this one, just purely for the technical aspect of things, is very good. I mean, Pride and Prejudice, I think, just purely for the cinematography, is just scrumptious. It was all shot on film as well. Also, Keira Knightley is beautiful. That's not even a note for the film, just like a note in general. Like in every single film ever, she's actually beautiful in everything. And it's very good. Also, the hand pulse in Pride and Prejudice is really just as good as the entire movie and this entire list as a whole. So, yes, Pride and Prejudice, go watch it. It's essential. And definitely, I'd say more for the technical side of things than the actual film itself. The romance things, it's top 20, but definitely the cinematography is top 5 for this entire list. It's very good, very scrumptious. If you like to analyze that kind of thing, definitely go watch this one. And then coming out of the great Pride and Prejudice into number 13, I do have Portrait of a Lady on Fire from 2019. This one is also scrumptious in cinematography side of things. It's nothing even exactly crazy, but the digital side of things looks extremely Krispy Kreme. It's all beautiful. The color palette, the color grading, the acting is also very good. Also costume design, great all around. Screenplay is also brilliant. This movie is one that I need to rewatch like 5 or 6 more times because I understand it. It's not like I'm watching Interstellar or Inception where there's a crazy mind F, but still, I have to rewatch that movie because Portrait of a Lady on Fire is just so dense and so beautiful and so many different layers to it that I barely even understand it in its truest form. I get why it's so good, but at the same time, I feel like I don't either in a way. It's like if I understand, yes, Star Wars is great. It's a great movie, but yet I don't really understand why Empire Strikes Back is so good. Well, it's time to find out by rewatching it a few times and definitely understanding it. And this is definitely how Portrait of a Lady on Fire feels. This one's very good, definitely very essential. Go watch it. Also, if you want to get into more foreign films, it's a very great one to start at. Then going from the greatly incredible Portrait of a Lady on Fire, I do have at number 12, About Time. About Time, nothing else really needed there. This one, I think overall, just for life and manhood and also just life in general, it's really good to watch for that reason. But still, overall with everything, About Time, the romance between Rachel McAdams and our main character in this movie is just brilliant and sad, and just shows, I think, just kind of like how We Live in Time did, actually, I think, a lot better too here. But just showing me the life and the relationship as it goes on throughout years of time, and just how much he cared for this one lady. It's so much, it's so beautiful. I love it. About Time, definitely very essential. It might be too high on the list. Like I said, this list is extremely flawed. There's like 2 or 3 spots here that I'm looking right now. Like, what is this happening? Why is this happening right now? Why is it at number 12 on the list? It's a little bit too high, but still, About Time, it's a great movie. This list is kind of meshed between I'm ranking based on the romance and also ranking based on the actual quality of the film. So this is like kind of a weird middle ground where About Time is really good, but is it a number 12 for romance side of things? Maybe not, but still very good for Valentine's Day. Definitely go watch it. It has a lot going on in the movie. That's definitely very good that you're definitely going to really enjoy. Just a very fair warning. You might find your new comfort film that's going to make you cry, but don't say I didn't tell you so. You're going to like it regardless. The number 11 is actually a very fair placement. I do have If Beale Street Can Talk, which is from the one, the only, my GOAT, my personal GOAT, even after flopping hard at Mufasa, Barry Jenkins, 2018. He did this one, and he does it so well. There's something about a Barry Jenkins movie where him and Nicholas Patel on the score, the way they can really just truly take your emotion and your heart by the hands and kind of guide it throughout an hour and a half, 2 hours, and them doing it so gracefully and so beautifully, telling such beautiful character stories, and with just such incredible set design, set pieces, music, all around incredible movie. This one is awesome. I think just in general, it's a great film, but also for romance, it's just awesome. Then the score is so iconic at this point. Nicholas Patel with Beale Street Can Talk score is so iconic. It's a new classic for scores, and it's just beautiful overall, all around. It's a great movie. Definitely recommend it. I can't say a whole lot about it to make it really as good as it already is, so definitely go watch it. It's really an easy choice for you. Okay, so number 11, If Beale Street Can Talk, out of the way, now time for top 10. And top 10 territory is serious, extremely polished. There's not much I change at this point. This list changes like once a week, I think, at this point, but still, this top 10, I don't think needs much changing. The rest of this list definitely needs a massive overhaul and big change to really be what I think it is, but this list, like I said, it's extremely hard. This entire list is filled with just great romance films, besides like the bottom 2 are very bad. But still, rest of the list, very good, very solid. But the top 10 is the cream of the crop, best of all-time romance films that I'm going to go into right now. At number 10, we have The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which is French New Wave. It's my personal favorite out of the French New Wave that I've seen so far. That's just so incredibly polished and so good. And the film dropped in 1964. Every line of dialogue in this film is sung. That means that if they say I'm going to the bathroom, they're singing I'm going to the bathroom in Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which sounds annoying and weird, but it's just so beautiful and just so rich and unique and just so chef's kiss. It's great. And also, the Umbrellas of Cherbourg actually inspired La La Land. So enough said right there. Director Damien Chazelle, it's one of his favorite movies of all time. So that's all you need to know about it. It has a very sad ending that is very reminiscent of La La Land, which I think is beautiful and cool, seeing how film can kind of weave in and out of time. It's a whole lot of fun with that one. Definitely recommend it. At number 9, we're going into the Before trilogy with Before Sunset. This is the second movie in the Before trilogy, which I think is definitely the worst out of the 3. But the Before trilogy, I said it before, I'll say it again. This is one of the best trilogies of all time. No doubt. Hands down, one of the best ever. What is it exactly? Well, the Before trilogy, which Linklater has this very cool thing he does with time and filming in real life, and also kind of having that time elapse over time. Like how in Boyhood, that movie was shot over like 12 or 13 years. It's actually insane. And with the Before trilogy, the first film came out in 1998? 1995, my bad, 1995, okay. So 1995, the film came out, and then about 8 or 9 years later, they had Before Sunset, which is the sequel, which came out in 2004, which is crazy to even think about. But still, like every 9 years, they made a film with this movie. Then the characters in real life grew up and grew older. The actors did as well. That really does make this movie span across like almost 30 years, which is crazy to think about. And it's just so beautiful and masterful, and it's gotten so right. down to the bare bone, it's an incredible trilogy. But number 9 here, I'm getting distracted here, is Before Sunset. And like I said, Before Sunset is the worst film out of the trilogy, but still, it's just so good regardless. It's like how I said previously with that other movie, Blue Valentine, kind of like how it goes from being in like the fairy tale romance movie. That's kind of what Before Sunrise is. And then Before Sunset is like the reality of it all setting in. That's what Before Sunset is. Also, number 8 here is Before Midnight, which also goes into the reality of their relationship. That's just so sad. It'll make you cry, but just how good it is. And it will literally take your life by the horns, and it will control your life until you finish the trilogy. That's what films are. That's what films can do. And this one is so addicting and so beautiful and so perfect that right now, yes, I will say this is the best trilogy of all time. I haven't rewatched Lord of the Rings in a while. That's a close second. But still, right now for me, this is my favorite and most consistent trilogy ever made, and that won't change for a while. So number 9, number 8 is Before Sunset and Before Midnight, definitely very essential. Then number 7, I have In the Mood for Love, which is from the one, the only, the incredible director, Wong Kar-wai, who is known for being just incredible at directing films. But this one in particular is just so brilliant and so sad, and it's just literally pure poetry on screen. In the Mood for Love 2000 is incredibly essential. I cried to this movie at a point where I didn't even need to. It's so beautiful and so sad, and it's just so poetic, and it's just so tender and brilliant at how to put it in here, number 7. I think that Wong Kar-wai, he's a guy who I really want to get to know, and just not as a person, not like personally know him, but still as a director, I want to watch more of his films. But his movies are really just really pure vibes, which is definitely, you can say, oh, that's terrible, but no, his films are really just like pure vibes, pure what you feel in the moment, which is very beautiful and very fun to go through. I've seen 3 at this point, which all 3 of them are solid, but for me, I don't have that personal connection quite yet. But still, he's an incredible director. In the Mood for Love is incredibly essential. I have to recommend it. But also, like looking at this list right now, In the Mood for Love feels a little bit too high, but it's still very, very good. I definitely think it's very essential. Top 20 for sure. But number 6 is definitely, I think, a lot more solid. I have Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I rewatched this one a little bit recently, and this one is just so brilliant and so masterful and so praised for just so obvious reasons. I know Jim Carrey, he made a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 romance film. Yes, he did. And the reason why is because this movie is about, if you go through a breakup, I went through one a while ago, but when you go through a breakup, it's like your entire life is consumed by that one person, even if it was like not that long ago, like a 2-month relationship. Compared to years of someone's life is even crazier. But still, if you knew someone in a relationship and then just immediately having to break up with them, but still having just unexpressed love sitting there in your body for a long time, it makes it so hard to move on, to just live in general, that all you think about 24/7 is that one single person, and you can't stop thinking about the way they look or even how they wore an outfit, whatever. It's just hard to live with memories of nothing anymore. And definitely after a time, you kind of move on from that breakup, but still, it's always there. The memories are always there in your head. So this film, Eternal Sunshine, is just about literally, if you were in a relationship and then a breakup, you having to kind of scoop out all the memories from that one person. It's just so sad and so real and so relatable and so raw, and just incredible production as well. Like, one of the best productions of all time. Easy, by far. It's so creative and so unique and so mind-bending. It's kind of like Inception, but a lot sadder at times, which is definitely just, insane. Jim Carrey also does give a Oscar-level performance. How didn't he win? Who knows? We'll never know. But Eternal Sunshine is definitely one of my favorite movies at this point of all time. Also, came out the exact same year I was born, so hey, it's a great sign there too. So Eternal Sunshine, it's number 6, but going into the top 5 is incredibly serious at this point. Number 5, we do have the Before Sunrise. Sunrise is 1995. It feels like a dream. My friend watched this one too, and I've been talking about him with this one, about the movie Before Sunrise. And Before Sunrise, it feels like a dream. That's what I've come to here. My conclusion with this one is that it's like a dream, like, not even like a dream, but I'd say like if you went on a date with someone years ago, and that date went so well that you remember it for 9, 10 years of your life. That's what Before Sunrise is, and it's so beautiful. that it's like I remember distinct moments to this day. Every day I think about it because it was so beautiful and the connection was there. The chemistry was all there too. This is an incredible movie all around. The screenplay is brilliant. The acting's even more brilliant. It's not even that crazy like cinematography either, or like directing, but still the conversations and the emotions that you feel with this movie will be felt forever. It's just so beautiful all around. The film speaks for itself. Go watch it immediately. So number 5, Before Sunrise. Number 4 is also a little bit too high, but I'm gonna roll with it here. Number 4, When Harry Met Sally. Another one, incredibly essential. It's just incredibly, just all around. It's a cult classic for a reason. It's so good. I understand a little bit high, number 4 on the list, really, Logan, but just go watch it. It's When Harry Met Sally. A lot of films in general, movies in general, took inspiration from When Harry Met Sally. It's one of those incredible flagship movies for just films and cinema in general that deserves more praise and love. It's a big one for a reason. So go watch it. You're going to love it. Billy Crystal is literally me, I guess, right now. And also, Meg Ryan is enough said about Meg Ryan. She's beautiful. So 1989, this one, When Harry Met Sally, go watch it. You'll love it. So now time for the top 3. Top 3 is just 3 5 out of 5 movies. Perfect perfection. The best films ever made for romance that I've seen, at least in my lifetime. So number 3, I do have Past Lives. I know this movie came out like so recently. What the heck is your problem? Past Lives is perfect. I just watched it recently, and I've seen Past Lives before. I've seen it once in theaters. I got it on Blu-ray, saw it again. Both those times gave it 4.5 out of 5. Then I rewatched Past Lives again, like last month or this month, something like that. And Past Lives is literally like perfect. Like I have 0 notes for this movie. 0, zilch, nada, 0 notes for it. It's just so beautiful and so raw and so real that I just can't get enough of it. I did an episode for this one like a while ago when it first came out. My opinion still stands. Past Lives is one of the best movies of the entire decade, and it's a 5 out of 5. It's perfect. There's no notes for it. It's beautiful. It's everything. Go watch it immediately. Number 2, also 5 out of 5. I'm also reading the book right now for this movie, is Call Me By Your Name. We have Armie Hammer, Timothée Chalamet, literally giving 2 of the best movies for a romance film ever in cinematic history. Also, it's just so brilliant. And I've seen it before. I've seen this film a lot, actually, in my life. And, it wasn't until last year. I gave it 5 out of 5 last year. I just couldn't stop anymore. I couldn't keep just waiting to give it 5 out of 5. I gave it 5 out of 5. It's perfect. I saw it once in 2022, gave it 4 out of 5. It was okay for me. It was cool. Saw it again January of last year. I gave it 4.5 out of 5. And definitely very fair and reasonable. Then I bought it on Blu-ray because it's just so good. Then I watched it on Blu-ray in May of last year, gave it 5 out of 5 because it just literally deserved it. It was just like no notes either, just literally perfect. Bought it on Blu-ray, so at that point, I had to be kind of locked into it. It's 5 out of 5. It's perfect. Call Me By Your Name. The chemistry, the music alone is just perfect. The costume design is there as well. And the ending, just like with Past Lives, the ending is just everything. And it's emotional, and it's so real and raw, and it's so perfect. Timothée Chalamet is just brilliant in everything. I love this. I love this one a lot. Call Me By Your Name. It's essential. Go watch it right now. And then for number 1, to really no one's surprise at all, number 1, the best romance film ever made of all time. And at one point, if you came up to me in my life and asked me at a certain point in time, Logan, what is your number 1 favorite film of all time? I used to say La La Land. That's what I used to say for a while. A very long time I used to say that my favorite film ever made is La La Land. Damien Chazelle, Emma Stone, and also Ryan Gosling. That's one of my favorites of all time. It's one of the best ever made. And is that true anymore? No, I've seen so many films to where it's a point like I can't have one single pound for pound favorite. It's just not fair anymore and not realistic either. So this one right here, number 1, La La Land. It's the best film ever made. No, romance ever made. It's the best. Also, for me, personal films ever. It's like top 10 or top 20. So it's just so beautiful. It's so perfect. It's just everything. Like I said before, the film speaks for itself. So I don't need to say anything else about it. I also have this film on 4K Blu-ray, and I watch it a lot, like every single year. It's like a yearly annual rewatch for me. I gotta go through it every single year, for sure. But just the cinematography, the acting, the set design, production design, the story, and the story about how we fall in love with someone, and then it might not work, which is okay. That's the common theme of a lot of these movies, how love with someone may not last forever, but still it can mean so much for us and let us grow into what we're supposed to be, that it may not have worked out, which is okay, but at least it happened. And at least we'll still think about them forever, which is very weird, and how I can be married, but still think about that one person, but it's okay because that's just how it was supposed to be. It might not last, which is okay, but still, La La Land, it's perfect. It's incredible. I want you to think about it. No notes either for that one. As I said before, this list has a lot wrong with it. This list has so many things that are just very high and very low that needs to be changed immediately. But the one thing, when I made this list, the one thing that still has not changed and still will never change is number one is La La Land. It's the best romance of all time. Also, it's just one of the best films ever made in general, that I have to put it right here at number one because it deserves it and it needs it. And I'll admit, I've definitely kind of fallen out of love with La La Land as the years have gone by, but still, when time comes to give respect to the GOAT, you gotta give respect to the GOAT, which is La La Land, number one, GOAT all time. Go watch it for yourself if you haven't already, for some weird reason. I'm not even sure why you wouldn't have seen the movie, but go watch it right now. It's already a cult classic in so many eyes, and definitely just pound for pound, definitely a cult classic, that if you haven't seen it, I'm definitely concerned for you. Like, as a person living in life, why haven't you? It's like if you're that kind of guy who says we have one more shower till 2030, it's like that kind of concerning. So, go watch it. Don't be that weird guy. Go watch La La Land. And if that film isn't really your speed, you can go watch one of the 70 plus films in this list, which is all going to be down below in my letterbox. It's a long list, like I said, very cluttered and definitely misorganized. It needs to be changed a lot, but still, it's a great list, very essential. Happy Valentine's Day. That's a special. It was pretty fun and also kind of sad, but still, I made some fun out of it. As you know, and as always, we're always going to be here on Instagram and also X. We're still there. TikTok, I still can't log into, so I can't even log into that one to post anything on there. So it's been kind of depressing in that regard. But still, we're everywhere else, I guess, for now. And if I'm in the mood to post on social media, I'm there. But we're still on Instagram and Twitter for now. But looking to the future of movies and cinema and TV shows, the Oscars are very close. I have seen The Brutalist, all 3.5 hours of that incredible film, which I plan to do an episode on next week, which is also my birthday next week. So it's going to be kind of weird to post on my birthday or around that time. But, the grind never stops, works never stops. So we're going to see what happens. And also, we have a little fan mail thing down there below. So if you're just really anywhere, we have a little link down there to send us some fan mail. Also, if you're on Spotify, we have a little fan mail thing down there too on Spotify, which is super fun too. So let me know what's your favorite romance movie. And also let me know, is Invincible good? I've been watching it. It's actually very fire. Invincible is incredible. Invincible is literally life and life for all time. So Invincible is cool. Spider-Man, is that cool to you? Let me know. And also the Oscars are happening right now too, which is a lot of drama there as well for a lot of different reasons. So let me know what's with all this drama. I don't know. It's kind of weird and kind of confusing, but I'll talk about it when we go into The Brutalist. So we'll go into that soon enough. But until then, stay swagged out, stay cool. Happy Valentine's Day. Don't be too sad. Don't beat yourself up about anything. If you're alone, it's okay. I'm here too. Guess what? Mahomes can't do a 3-peat, but you can do a 5-peat for being alone on Valentine's Day. Congrats. It's a big accomplishment. Give yourself a little pat on the back for that one. I'll give you some claps for it too. You definitely deserved it. And also, Party Next Door, Drake is here too. So please listen to that album. It might be pretty good. It might lift your spirits up a little bit. All right, I'm sorry. Getting a little distracted here, but still, stay swagged out, stay cool, watch more films. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone all around the earth. And of course, I'm real. So again, I'll see you boys in the movies.
Tell you